Alrighty, we are ready to begin. Welcome everyone to night two. And in general, I am welcome you all to the fourth staging of the UWI Young Alumni Advocates. That's the YAA Soft and Life Skills Conference. Now, this year, our theme is future proofing careers, building personal and professional resilience for success in modern workplaces. And we will be exploring this through four thematic areas. Now, on night one, we were able to go through empowering professional growth through emotional intelligence. And that presentation was led by Kamala Mikumini. And then we had another presentation by Jeremy Nairn, where we spoke about enhancing collaboration in a multi generational workforce. But tonight, different settings, different speakers, but same dynamic energy. And we're going to be deep diving in leveraging our online platforms to enhance personal and professional presence, which is going to be led by Naomi Garrick, the PR chick, and maximizing career opportunities through effective use of recruitment tools, which will be led by Christopherson Nunez, also known as the Career Doc. No, they'll be doing that, but my job simply is to be here to guide the proceedings. My name is Tomoy Campbell, and it is my pleasure to be huddled here on Zoomland with all of you. Before we get into the meat of the matter, I want you to please let me know in the chat where you're joining us from. It could be Jamaica, it could be Dubai, it could be St. Kitts and Nevis. I want to see the chat going on and on, telling me where you're joining us from and also, if you were here with us for night one, just special recognition for those persons who happened to join us yesterday. And if you happen to be here now, stars, stars, stars for you. But please let us know where you're joining us from. Now, tonight promises to be nothing short of engaging and informative information, just pocket sized just for you. And this conference is specially curated with you in mind and for your benefit. So I will tell you if you need your mother, your father, the rat, the cat, anybody to come on, please share the link with them so that they can be here and benefit from what promises to be an engaging event. Now, as I said before, tonight's presentations will be led by Naomi Garrick and Christopherson Nunez. But just before we get to their presentations, I want to encourage you to stick and stay with us throughout the entire night because the YAA Advisory Board has some information to share with you about a new scholarship opportunity. So you definitely want to stick around for that. And carrying on with the same energy from last night, we're going to be having a giveaway. Now, Black Friday is around the corner. Christmas is creeping in. So if I were you, I would grab my pencil, my notepad, and pay close attention because you may want to stick around to get the opportunity to snag an Amazon gift card worth 50 US dollars. So you may want to stick around just for that. But we're going to hear from first the ideator and everything when it comes on to alumni relations, the queen of it all, Mrs. Celia Davison Francis. Now, Mrs. Francis will not be joining us here right now physically because she is away in London, but she has blessed us with a virtual recording, which I'm going to ask us to cue our attention to the screen just to see that for a bit.
Special greetings to all. It is a pleasure to welcome you as the founder of the UWISTAT Ambassadorial Corps, a visionary program that, for nearly 19 years, has cultivated over 1,600 dynamic leaders who continue to excel and inspire as global advocates for change. These trailblazers are not only advancing in their professions, but also actively shaping communities and fostering innovation at every level. This conference is more than just a meeting of minds. It's a launch pad for new ideas, actionable strategies, and personal growth. Let the annual YAA conference be your annual springboard to achieving greater impact and unlocking your potential. Take this opportunity to learn, lead, and ignite change. Here's to an enlightening and empowering experience ahead.
That was Mrs. Celia Davidson Francis, founder and regional director, UA Start, Ambassadorial Corps, and Young Alumni Advocates, and literally the queen of everything alumni relations. I'm taking just a small opportunity to recognize those in the chat. I'm seeing persons from Trinidad. Rochelle, she said she missed last night, but Rochelle, we're glad that you're here now. I see Miss Davy, she was present last night. Michaela, you were here last night and you're here now. So gold stars for you. Jamaica, Trinidad, Jamaica. Yes, I'll wait in Dubai. But you're on your way. You're on your way, but you're here from Jamaica. And I'm also seeing presence from the Commonwealth of Dominica. So happy to see all the representations here. And please feel free to share the link and get other persons to join. Now, I've been talking for quite a while, so it's my time to step back and for us to hear from our first speaker, Naomi Garrick. But I do not have the privilege of introducing her. That privilege will be vested in Mr. Shamar Wedderburn, who is a part of the YAA Advisory Board. And so, Shamar, I'm going to hand over to you now to please make welcome our very first speaker, Naomi Garrick. So, Shamar, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Tamoy. And you're right, we definitely have an incredible speaker up first. Miss Naomi Garrick is a renowned expert, everyone, in personal branding and executive presence. With over 20 years of experience as an author, international speaker, PR practitioner, and entrepreneur. As the founder and CEO of Garrick Communications Limited, a boutique PR agency in Jamaica, Naomi has helped over 100 brands and individuals amplify their public persona and extend their influence. She's a certified reputation champion and a leadership contributor for Entrepreneur Magazine. But Naomi is very much a sought-after coach who specializes in leadership development and communication strategies. Many might not know she has achievements that include being a Vital Voice Growth Fellow. She's a Scotiabank Vision Achiever. All of us know that program, everybody, fantastic. And she's a semi-finalist for the EY Entrepreneur of the Year in 2023. Naomi's impactful work inspires leaders. I'm inspired reading it to refine their executive presence and achieve professional success. Naomi, the floor is yours. Let us, everyone, please help her make her welcome. I hope I see everything in the chat. But here we go, Naomi Garrick.
Thank you so much, Shamar. I'm very excited to be here presenting tonight. Thank you for the lovely introduction. I am going to start by just sharing my screen. But hi to everyone in the chat. Okay, great. And you can just give me a thumbs up so that I can know that you are seeing everything on the screen and not just seeing me.
Yes, we're seeing the screen.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much. So tonight, we're actually going to be talking about how you can leverage online platforms to enhance your personal and professional presence. What I'm really going to focus on are two key topics tonight. What is personal branding and why your digital footprint matters. So let's talk first about personal branding. We hear this term, we've been hearing it a lot, especially within the last 5 years. And some people still aren't quite sure exactly what personal branding is. Do I have a personal brand? Do I need a personal brand? Do I want a personal brand? What is personal branding? And the reality is that everyone in this room already has a personal brand because you are all actually walking and talking billboards for the brand called you. Your personal brand is simply your reputation, but sometimes we're showing up, but not necessarily showing up in the way that we actually want to project ourselves to the world. And so for you to kind of have a bit more of an understanding of what your personal brand is, you need to first get some clarity on exactly who you are. So you need to start with understanding what are some of your core values? What are you passionate about? What's your driving force? What gets you up in the morning? If you could write a personal brand mission statement that really speaks to who you are and who you want to inspire and impact and how you want to show up for not just the world, but for yourself, what would that look and sound like? And when you have clarity on who you are, then you have to start thinking about what is your unique value? What are you bringing to the table? What do you bring to the table because of your unique experiences, because of your knowledge, because of your skills, because of your expertise? And then when you have that clarity, you understand your unique value, the next step is communication. How are you going to communicate that effectively to your ideal audience? And who's your ideal audience? Who actually needs to know who you are and this value that you bring to the table? Dr. Seuss says, today you are you, that is truer than true, and there's no one alive who is youer than you. He also said, why fit in when you are born to stand out? So let's look a little bit more about exactly what personal branding is. Personal branding is first how you see yourself. But sometimes we may see ourselves a certain way, and that's not necessarily what we're projecting to the rest of the world. So your personal brand also becomes, what do others say about you? What do people say about you when you're not in the room? It's a thing that you want to be known for. So when someone hears your name or they Google you online, what are those words or that key word or phrase that you always want to be associated with you and your brand and who you are and the value that you're bringing? It's about how you want people to feel when they interact and engage with you. Are people going to feel excited or delighted when you walk through the door? Or do they feel disappointed and maybe not so sure? So we have to be aware of how we are projecting ourselves to others and how people feel when we interact and engage with them. It's about solving a unique problem because of your seek. So your skills, experience, education, and knowledge. No one in the world does what you do the way that you do it. So even graduating from university, you all graduate, you may graduate with a class of 70 individuals that graduate with the same exact degree. When you go to apply for a job, a similar job, maybe even the same job, what else are you going to say in that interview that's going to allow you to stand out, that's going to allow you to differentiate, that's going to allow you to show something different that's of value that maybe one of your peers does not have. And that's because of your own unique experiences and your own expertise, the way that you see things, the way that you process and analyze things, because of your unique story. That's what's going to allow you to stand out and support the degree that you have acquired. So you have to be very aware of what's your story and what are the things that you can actually bring to the table that actually showcase your unique value. More importantly, your personal brand has also become what Google has to say about you. What comes up for you in an online search? And why that's so important is because people interact with you, engage with you, they want to learn more about you. And before, we would use a lot of word of mouth. So you may call a friend, you may ask somebody else to get information or insight about this person. But we don't have to do that anymore. We actually go to our devices, we do a quick Google search. We may look for them on Instagram, we may look for them on Facebook, maybe TikTok, maybe LinkedIn. That's where we're now going to get our information. And that's where recruiters are going to. So Google has become a very big part of your personal brand, and we have to be very aware of that. Some benefits of personal branding. One, you become known for a thing. It helps to build trust and credibility. It helps to position you as a thought leader or that go-to person. It also creates differentiation and distinctiveness. It can give you access to new opportunities. It helps with the positioning of your skills and expertise. And it gives you a seat at the table or even an opportunity to build your own table. So why does your digital footprint matter? Because everyone, everywhere is online. And what I think really happened is during the pandemic forced us all to jump online. We were having classes online, we were doing meetings online, we were interacting and engaging with everyone online. So even if you weren't an active user of social media or streaming platforms, now we didn't have a choice. And so that's where people were connecting, not just in Jamaica, but around the world. Opportunities were now available. It allowed you to quickly communicate with someone and get access into rooms that you did not have access to before. And so now in 2024, we're all online. Companies are online, individuals are online, entrepreneurs are online. creatives are online, this is where we go to be discovered and to showcase our value, showcase who we are. Because the reality is, sometimes our online presence is the first and last interaction that someone may actually have with your brand. And so we have to be very aware of how we are showing up, and in some cases, not showing up in the online space. So your online reputation matters. Warren Buffett says it takes 20 years to build a reputation and only 5 minutes to ruin it. And if you think about that, you'll do things differently. So let me ask you a question. How quickly do you think it takes for someone to ruin their reputation online? I'm going to ask you to unmute if you're going to answer, because I can't see the chat since I'm on screen. But let me know. I want to hear, how quickly do you think you can ruin your reputation in this digital world today? You can go ahead, Raji.
I would say, well, good afternoon,
Good
first of all.
afternoon.
Yes, I would say in less than a second.
In
Mm.
less than a second. Anyone else?
Persons are
You see,
responding in the chat, Naomi.
I am looking. I'm in the chat now. I see
Okay.
one post, 1 minute. That's exactly it. So literally, with the snap of a finger, in seconds, right? And sometimes it's not actually just what you post. Sometimes it's what you share, it's what you comment on, it's what you like. Something as simple as you putting that heart on a social media post that says that you like this post. That's it. Because guess what? Let's say the post is something that is not very favorable to the general public, right? And then we're scrolling, I'm scrolling, and I happen to see that little heart with your name beside it that you liked it. It makes me take a minute, a pause, and maybe like, I wonder why this person would actually like this post. And I may start to question my thoughts around who you are and your personal brand just because of a simple heart or a like. And so we have to be very aware of how we are putting ourselves out there in this online space, because people are making decisions about how they engage, how they interact or do not interact with us, just based on how we choose to show up online. So we have to be very aware of how we are presenting ourselves in that online space. And when you start working with companies, what we also have to realize is that your personal brand also becomes a part of that company's brand, and that company's brand becomes a part of your brand. And that's why sometimes when we hear these articles in the media, hear these articles or read these hear these stories or read these articles in the media, and something happens with an employee at an organization, the thing that we always remember is the name of the organization and not necessarily the employee. So there is an impact and a responsibility for ourselves and even for the companies that we represent with our personal and professional brand. So here are 6 benefits of online branding. 1, it gives you an immediate platform. So now we have the ability to utilize these platforms. In most cases, it's for free, to really position our brands, position, promote, and tell people who we are, what we do, and the value that we offer. But sometimes we have these platforms and people have no idea what we do, what we're bringing to the table. You go on an Instagram page and you see a lot of different things, but it's not really telling someone, why should I engage with you? Why should I follow you? Why should I hire you? And so we need to realize the responsibility that we have with these various platforms that we have access to. Your online brand also gives you access. It means brand amplification. So again, for the first time in a really long time, by one post that we post right here in Jamaica can also be shared around the world in seconds. So we get reach, right? It expands your reach and your audience. And, one of the examples I like to share is I understand the importance of online branding, but like many of you, I was very busy and didn't really have the time to do the same things that I would recommend to my clients. So making sure that my LinkedIn page is updated and I'm posting content frequently and I'm engaging and commenting and liking and sharing. But when we had the pandemic, it really kind of just slowed us all down. So I had time. And I started taking my time and revisiting the LinkedIn platform, which I'm going to speak a bit more about shortly. And I started showing up on the page, making sure that my profile picture was updated, making sure my profile was updated in general, and not using it like an online resume holder, which is what a lot of people still do with LinkedIn. I started sharing value on the platform, not trying to sell something or even sell myself, but just giving my audience some more information about how they can be using their personal brand and especially the online brand to really build their reach, build their audience, create thought leadership. And even though at the beginning, my audience was mainly a Jamaican audience, again, because you're online, you have access to the world, I started being approached by companies and individuals from all around the world, as far as Australia, asking me to either do a virtual workshop or do a virtual keynote or do a presentation or do a training for their company or for their teams online. These people have no interaction with me other than through what they see me sharing on LinkedIn and what they would find in an online search. So what that did for me during that period was it really opened up my eyes to the opportunities that were available to me just by showing up and showing up in the right way, utilizing these platforms to really showcase and provide value. And that opened up doors to many opportunities. To this day, and LinkedIn gives you a lot of opportunities to really showcase your expertise and knowledge, and they provide you with all the tools to do that. It builds trust and credibility. It creates an opportunity for collaboration, and it allows you to be Googleable. So it creates an opportunity for searchability. So someone should be able to search for your name and the right things come up for you. But what do we start with? I recommend starting with an online search. And so I like to be a little interactive in my sessions. So I'm going to ask you all if you could just take out your phone and just do a quick online search, right? Just your first name and last name. And then let me know in the chat, what are the platforms that show up for you first when you do that online search? And while you're doing that search, I'm just going to share some stats with you. Only 5% of people look past the first page of Google. And if you think about yourself, when you're doing an online search, you don't go to page 2 or 3 or 4. You actually probably don't even get past the first post. Maybe you'll go to post number 2, maybe 3. But many of us do not go past page 1 on Google. So that tells you you need to be very aware of what's showing up for you on your page 1 of Google. There are also over 1 billion users on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a top professional platform with over 1 billion members, over 67 million companies from 200 countries and regions worldwide. Every minute, 7 people are hired on LinkedIn. 73% of companies consider LinkedIn the most effective site for finding qualified candidates. And 95% of businesses use social media in their recruiting process. So are we really seeing how important and impactful having a strong online presence is in today's society? So I'm looking in the chat and I'm seeing, okay, so Alwyn says Instagram comes up first. Michaela is LinkedIn. Tamoy is LinkedIn. Nakita, company page, then LinkedIn, then Instagram. Raquel says LinkedIn only. And the reason why LinkedIn comes up for most people, LinkedIn actually either comes up as the first search result or in the top 5 because LinkedIn is such a heavily optimized online platform. So whether you post every day or you don't post at all on LinkedIn, your LinkedIn is still going to come up. So that means that maybe we need to start with updating our LinkedIn profile first, if this is what is definitely going to show up for your online brand. You have to be able to define your brand. So we're doing the online audit first, right? So we're looking to see what's showing up for us. Are our profiles updated? Do we have an updated headshot? Does our headline statement actually truly represent who you are today? Does it showcase the value that you're bringing to the table? Is it showcasing the thing that you want to be known for in your industry or in your field? And so you have to be able to define your brand so that when you're updating these online platforms and profiles, it's relevant to exactly how you want to be positioned in the eyes of your ideal audience, which could be within your organization, it could be for an outside company, it could be for an international company, it could be for your ideal audience, which could also be customers and clients. But you have to first know, what is your brand? What do you want to be known for is the big question. You have to create a great headline statement or a one-liner. Donald Miller from the Story brand says, our one-liner is like our hit song, and we need to say it over and over until even our customers have memorized and started repeating it to their friends. So what is your one-liner? It's time to start thinking about that. You'll see I have an example of my LinkedIn profile, just the headline statement here on the screen. And you'll notice for me, I want to be known as the PR chick, right? So you see PR chick beside my name on any platform that I'm on, because that's what I want to be known for. But I also want to be known as a personal branding coach and trainer for executives and entrepreneurs. But because LinkedIn has such a diverse audience, I don't want to just leave it at personal branding coach and trainer. So I leave that at the top because that's the thing I want to be known for in this space. But I also add the other things that I want to be known for: a PR consultant, a professional brand builder, an author, a speaker, an entrepreneur.com contributor on personal branding. You'll also notice that underneath my headline statement, LinkedIn has given me a top personal branding voice badge. I think my screen just paused. Let me see, resume. Let me know if you're still seeing me here.
We're still seeing you.
Okay, awesome. Let me just check something in my settings so that doesn't happen again. Okay, great. Sorry about that. So you'll see that there's a top personal branding voice because LinkedIn rewards their users that post content consistently that's relevant to their field of expertise. So they actually have a program called Community Voice that identifies individuals on the platform that may talk very consistently about a particular topic. And they invite you to be a top voice in that area. And what that means is that you are contributing to articles around your area of expertise. In my case, is personal branding, commenting on different posts or articles that LinkedIn actually generates. And depending on the amount that you post, how many people actually engage with that post, LinkedIn actually presents you with this badge, which also tells others that you are an expert or a leader in this area. So there are a lot of opportunities for you to use a platform like LinkedIn to really build your brand and present yourself as a thought leader and not just somewhere to post your resume. You have to update your online profiles and bios. Your profile is usually the first impression that someone will have of your brand online. And sometimes we have multiple platforms that we're on, and they all look very different. Some of them, you have pictures that are not reflective of who you are today, or they may not be professional pictures or a headshot, right? Still seeing some selfies in these online profiles on LinkedIn, which is a professional platform. You have to ensure that your headline statement is updated. So you'll see on Instagram, it's slightly different for me because you have less space here. And so again, it's helping professionals to build more purposeful and profitable brands. Hashtag personal branding coach, speaker, author. So it still ties back to all those things that I want to be known for. And so you have to ensure that if you are going to be online, and as we saw when you did your own mini brand audit online, all these platforms are available for others to see. A lot of people think that because your profile may be private, that people don't have access to it. But the reality is that once you have a profile online, it is accessible to anyone else that can see it. So it could be a friend of a friend that gets to see your profile, not necessarily because they're a follower or because your profile is private. So then you want to make sure that what you have online is a true reflection of you and that it doesn't matter who sees your profile. And as you saw in one of the stats, in today's job market, companies are going to check your social media platforms. And they're doing it because they want to ensure that this individual that created this amazing cover letter and resume is actually the person that they're seeing online. And that it is also a good fit for the culture of the company. And so what happens a lot is we have these online profiles, but then we show up in person as somebody else. So we have to make sure that you are showing up in an authentic way, both in the online space and when you show up in person, so that we're not confusing individuals, right? We're showing up with our best selves and again, presenting our value. So some online brand best practices. The first thing is you have to get online, right? Some of us are still afraid to go on the online space. We don't trust it, which I understand. But if you're not online, you could be missing out on some great opportunities that are meant for you. And it's because people are online looking for exactly who they need and what they want. And what you'll find now is back in the day, or just say even a couple of years ago, you only posted jobs in the newspaper, in the classifieds, right? That's where you put who you're looking for to work at your company. And now some people skip over that completely and only post online. And I'll give an example. We recently put out a post about some positions that were available at Garrett Communications. We only posted on Instagram and LinkedIn. And we received over 130 applications for these posts. This is just online, and this was just within maybe a week and a half. So you need to get online, and you need to ensure that when you're online, you are showing up in a way that is truly reflective of the brand that you want to position to the world. Get some updated headshots. Look at your headshots and make sure that they represent who you are today. Dress for the job that you want, not the job that you have, right? So look professional, look clean, look put together. Just show up in the right way. Update your online profiles. Ensure that what you have on LinkedIn is the same thing that you have on your Instagram or any other professional platforms that you may use that really showcase who you are. Be very mindful of what you are sharing online, what you are posting online, what you are commenting online, those voice notes that you may share, videos that you may share. You don't know where these things are going to end up sometimes. Who is watching, who is looking, and who is sharing. So just be very aware of how you are putting your brand out in the online space and what you're actually contributing to, because it can have a negative impact in some cases on your personal and professional brand. Do regular online audits, right? Just like what we did a while ago. Check to see what's showing up in an online search for you, because I guarantee you, you're meeting people, you are applying for jobs, and individuals, recruiters, they are going to Google you as well. So you should at least know what's showing up. Look for the things that maybe you're not okay with, right? Maybe a friend posted you and tagged you in something, a photo that's not flattering. Get them to untag you. Maybe you need to go through your own social media posts and do a social media cleanse. We don't remember what we posted last year. We may not even remember what we posted 2 weeks ago, much less 3 years ago or 5 years ago. But it's still online for the world to have access to. And we change and we're growing with our brand. So who we were 5 years ago may not be who we are today, but that content is still available for everyone to see. So do a social media cleanse and do regular online audits so that you are aware of what's showing up for you online. Set Google alerts for your name. So I have Google alerts for my name because I want to be the first to know if something new is out in the online world about me, whether it's good or bad. It gives me an opportunity to be ahead of a situation if it's something that's not in my favor. So you need to set alerts for your name. Post, like, comment, and share. So you want to be able to connect with your audience. You want to showcase value. You want to be a part of the community, right? So people can start seeing you as a thought leader. Be authentic. Be consistent. So you don't want to show up today and then we don't hear from you for another year, or we don't hear from you for another 3 months. So be consistent with what you're sharing, especially if you're trying to position yourself as a thought leader in your industry. Remember, if it's online, it's not private. Show up with your value. Don't post, share, and like content that could negatively impact your brand. Showcase always that thing that you want to be known for. Get on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is where decisions are being made about you, your brand, and your abilities. Ensure that your profile page is updated, your about section is updated. I've done meetings with many professionals that didn't realize that there actually was an about me section on LinkedIn. So it's just blank. So ensure that you have a headshot that's from the bust up that shows you looking professional. Your about me section is complete. I think a lot of us focus straight on the education section and experience, and we forget that we need to tell people who we are. We don't even know if people are going to scroll all the way down to see what our experience is or see what our education is. But they're going to see your headline statement, they're going to see your photo, and they're going to see that paragraph in the about me section. So make sure it's really reflective of this brand that you've created and the value that you want to deliver. Get on LinkedIn. So some key takeaways. Your personal brand is also what Google says about you. Always be mindful of your digital footprint. Do an online brand audit and update your online platforms. Get on LinkedIn and start positioning your brand. And your reputation in the digital space impacts career opportunities. Thank you.
Thank you, Yomi. Can I get some reactions? Can I get some virtual claps? Listen, you know, listen. Okay, I'm seeing Alwyn putting them up. Naomi, it is always a pleasure hearing you speak. And tonight,
Alwyn has
no
like
different.
5 different reactions.
Giselle is clapping. Alvin said, well, Michaela is clapping as well. Please keep them coming. And remember, this is now your opportunity to come on the microphone, to perhaps put it in the chat or raise your hand, and we'll acknowledge you for you to ask Naomi a couple questions. Just maybe want to share something that was a takeaway for you. While you're
Thank you,
thinking,
everyone. I'm seeing the claps. I'm seeing the fire. I'm seeing hands up. I'm seeing party hats, hearts, all the things. Thank you.
Naomi, we have two hands so far. We have Michaela and
Okay.
Nafisa. Michaela can unmute and pose your question to Naomi.
Hi, everybody. Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. First of all, thank you so much for that presentation. It was excellent. My
Thank you.
question is, okay, I totally agree with like getting on LinkedIn, positioning yourself. But what if you're not like a social media person? Like you're not really on Instagram, like will that negatively impact you if you're not like
Nope.
on Twitter or anything?
So I'm not on Twitter. I have a Twitter account just because I want to be a part of the conversation when I need to be, but I'm not actively on Twitter. I'm on TikTok, but I really just scroll on TikTok, but I'm there. So I do have a profile on all of these platforms because I want to know if something comes up about me or a client, I can be a part of that conversation and I'm aware. But no, you don't have to be on every platform. You don't have to be on Instagram posting, but for a professional, you definitely need to be on LinkedIn, right? And to be on LinkedIn, you do not have to post every day. And that's why my main thing is to ensure that you have an updated profile page on LinkedIn. So even if you're not ready to contribute yet, because you're still trying to figure out exactly how you want to position yourself or what are the topics that you want to be seen as a go-to person or potential thought leader or contribute to, you still want to make sure that at least your profile page is updated and it's a reflection of where you are today, right? So that's where I would start. You don't have to be someone that is actively on social media every day or posting every day. I mean, for many people, it's not something that they enjoy to do at all. Even professionals, it's not their thing. They don't have the time, but we do spend time on LinkedIn.
Alrighty, I hope that answered your question, Michaela. Okay, she said, okay, thank you.
Okay.
And then Alwyn.
Thanks, Naomi. Always great.
Thanks,
As
Nikito.
an observer of TikTok, because I'm not on
Mm-hmm.
TikTok, and because it's an actual viable income earner for young people in particular, um, and hearing how the other platforms are utilized, my concern and questions and just how do we navigate or recommend how would you recommend navigating posting on TikTok, because it's not necessarily professional. In some
Mm-hmm.
spaces they'll do all kind of crazy things to make money because they need,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how you make it if it's likes or views, but they do crazy things that may not necessarily even align with their brand. um and people want to make money, but you
I
also
agree,
but you
but
also
that's
operate in a
risky.
Ye-
That's being very risky too, right? So I
yes.
get wanting to use a platform like TikTok to make money. I scroll through TikTok all the time. So I mean, even for myself, I do see it as an opportunity, that platform in particular, because for younger people, that's their Google. They actually don't really use Google for it to find what they're looking for anymore. They search for it on TikTok, right? However, I understand the question that, some people go on TikTok with a different persona to, as you said, make money. Um, but they're also looking for a professional job. And
Yes.
so that individual has to be very aware of how they're choosing to show up in that space and also realize the impact, whether negative or positive, that how they choose to show up on TikTok is gonna play a role in their job interview or their ability to be considered for an opportunity. So it's like you have to make a decision. Are you gonna be an influencer on TikTok and make money? Which, I mean, we have a lot of people that do that and are super successful, or are you going to do it in a way that doesn't impact your opportunities at a professional career? So we have to just be very aware that, we can't have these two personalities and then be surprised when we're not chosen for the right opportunities.
Thank you
uh,
so much, Nick. Oh, is
There
that
was a
all,
second
Nikito?
part because,
Okay,
yes,
sorry.
sorry. There was a second part to it because there are other platforms like the 24-hour post platforms that I like to call it, like WhatsApp. I know it's not open to everybody, but it's open to your
Mm-hmm.
contacts, as well as Snapchat. Only
Mm-hmm.
because we think that because there's a 24-hour limit on it, just want
It
to,
just it
yeah.
just takes a screenshot or a screen grab, a recording for whatever it is that you have on your 24-hour post to go viral. So again, to me, it's about the individual being aware um, of what they're sharing and the impact that it has on their other opportunities and being comfortable with that. If you're comfortable with that, then okay. But just know that it definitely can impact other opportunities. And as you said, not because it's 24 hours, like a story highlight on Instagram, or as you said, Snapchat or a WhatsApp. I mean, I'm sure everyone in this room has gotten a WhatsApp voice note from somebody that it wasn't originally sent to them, right? It's just forwarded many, many times, right? Or a picture or a video. It's as simple as that. So again, it's just being very mindful and aware of how you are choosing to show up on these different platforms and the impact that it can have.
All right. Thanks, Nikita. I have a question, Naomi, and then we'll go to Alwyn, and I think someone had some
Sure.
chat. Um,
Someone said use an alias or do it faceless. So let me just comment on that real quick. That doesn't work. I'm very aware of many situations where individuals have created their alias page or faceless page, and then some way it comes back to the employer that this person has created this page and this is what they're doing, and then it impacts their job. So how about let's just not do it if we know that it's going to negatively impact your opportunity and ability to earn, would be my response. Or pick one, pick a side.
Thanks, Naomi. Very quickly, and then I go to Alwyn. I want your advice on how to show up online in a way that perhaps is cohesive and tidy. So, for context, I'm about to become an attorney, and I love everything media. So, I've
Mm-hmm.
created my TikTok platform called Legally Nerdy, where I break down legal stuff in a simple way. And then when
Love
you
that.
Thank you. And then when you go on Instagram, you may see hosting things that I do, my TV work, law achievements, etc. But at the same time, I kind of think that that's a little bit all over the place. There's law stuff, media stuff, and then if I go out on a trip with friends, I'm also posting that on the one page as well. Do you think I should be doing anything to separate it, or it's okay if it's all on the one page?
So for that, my go-to response is separate. And I'll tell you why. So I have a Naomi Garrett page, which is my personal page, but it's open. And I use that page to post about whatever I want to post about, right? Still reflective of my brand and who I am, but it's more like family, friends, outings, different things. But I also have a PR chick page, which is really focused on personal branding. Because what I found was even though my personal page had more followers, people weren't following me on that page for information about personal branding. So I would notice that if I posted something about personal branding, the likes, the comments, the shares, they weren't great. But if I posted the same exact content on my PR chick page where people follow me for that content, there'd be shares, there'd be comments, there'd be DMs, there'd be likes, all of the things, because those people are following me on that page for that particular type of information.
Mm.
And so I find if you are in a profession like that, it may be helpful to have a separate page, and you can use your main page to direct people that are interested in that kind of content to those pages that speak to that content. So that's what I did. So when I created the new page, I announced it on my main page, and people that were interested in that migrated to the PR chick page. And I still use it today if I'm doing something special and may do a temporary post on my Naomi Garrett page just to bring attention to it and then either archive it or so that people can go over to PR Chick.
Oh,
So it does help with the separation, because what you don't want to do is confuse your audience either. Today you talk about media, tomorrow you talk about law, then 3 days later I'm seeing you on a beach trip, right?
Yes.
And especially for the field that you're in, you want to definitely have a professional demeanor too.
Thank you, Naomi. I'm writing all of this down, but I don't want to take up all the time, so I'm going to go to
I know
Al.
Alwyn had a question. Yes.
All right, pleasant night, everyone.
Good night.
Wow, you are absolutely stunning. Wow.
Thank you.
Thank you for the amazing presentation, first of all. So let me just like if if it's only one thing that was so profound about everything is LinkedIn. And I guess somebody else
Yeah.
already asked the question and you touched a bit on it. But what I was initially going to ask was like, what about the other platforms? What if LinkedIn is just something that you're not necessarily all that comfortable doing, even though you said you don't have to post often? What if it is that you want to focus on something else, and push your brand through that other platform?
Well, you heard Tamoy talk about, how she utilizes TikTok to, you said it was legally, what's the name of it, Tamoy?
Legally,
Legally nerdy.
Legally nerdy, right? I mean, I have thought many times about creating PR chic personal branding content. I'm just not there yet. But there's a massive opportunity on that platform too. But you have to know your audience. So who are you speaking to and where are they online? So one, I think as a professional, having an updated LinkedIn profile is just standard, right? Again, because there are opportunities. What you notice on LinkedIn is that people are constantly searching for people like you. Even if you're not currently looking for a job, I have so many colleagues that get approached on a weekly, monthly basis for jobs that they did not even apply for, because people are using different keywords to look for exactly who they want. And these options come up with all these people. So if you're not on the platform, you're not even in the game. You're not an option. So I think every professional should be on LinkedIn. But I do think there are lots of opportunities with these other platforms too. So you have to know who your audience is, who are you trying to reach with the content that you want to create, and then choose the platform that you're comfortable with. But don't not have a LinkedIn profile because you're not really comfortable with the platform. Get comfortable with the platform. Everything's available online. Google, ChatGPT. How do I set up an optimized LinkedIn profile? Here is my bio. This is who I am. What do you recommend I put in my About Me section? Right? So we have all of these tools that just make it so much easier for us, right? So that's what I would recommend. Ensure that you have an updated LinkedIn profile so that you get to be a part of the conversation, right? You get to be searchable too for opportunities that you didn't even know were available to you. But if you have audiences that live on other platforms, explore those platforms and see where you can still present value in those spaces.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
This question was posed in the chat. It's a two-parter. How do you get over imposter syndrome? And two, how
Ooh.
can we become the go-to person for a subject matter?
Imposter syndrome is a real thing that even professionals with years and years of experience still have. I am definitely someone that I wouldn't use the word suffered from imposter syndrome, but it was a big thing for me, especially because I did not end up graduating, even though I had completed my 4 years at UAA and UTech, doing a degree in hotel and tourism management. I didn't end up graduating with my degree because I couldn't pass statistics and mathematics. So years into my business, and my company is 15 years old now, for many years, I still felt a little bit of an imposter because I didn't have the qualifications on paper to say that I was qualified to do what I was doing. But I didn't think about all the years of experience, the clients that I've worked with, the team that I've built, all these things over the years that really positioned me and the company as thought leaders and experts in this space. And for me, it took a couple years for me to really understand this value that I was able to bring to the table and to my team. So imposter syndrome was holding me back for a while, and it held back my company as well. And so what I do recommend is I actually do a journey mapping activity. People tend to do it just one time, but what I like to tell some of my clients just to help with breaking that imposter syndrome is writing down the things that you have done on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis, looking at the end of the month and just writing down all the things that you've accomplished, all the things that you've done. Create a little credentials hit list. So with all your degrees, certifications, workshops, trainings, big wins in your companies that you work at, small wins in your companies, just putting all those little things together in a special journal that you can always reference. And sometimes you can talk to people. So when you're feeling like that, speak with someone that you trust. One of the things I sometimes, tell people is create your own personal brand advisory board with those key individuals that you can go to and they can reaffirm you as well. Because it's a real thing, and it's not just for young people. It happens to very seasoned professionals sometimes too. And sometimes you just need to be reminded of your greatness, and then also looking to see what are ways that you can also improve on who you are today, and how else can you add more value to yourself and your brand.
Thanks, Naomi. And the part two was how they would become like a thought leader or on their particular subject matter.
You have to consistently, one, you need to know the material inside out, pick a thing, and you have to constantly show up talking about this thing. So that means you need to be showing up on the platforms, or you need to be showing up in interviews, or you need to be showing up in your company, or you need to say, pick me when there's an opportunity for a speaking engagement, or to work on a project, or to do a presentation for your group, right? People need to see and hear and believe that you could be the expert in this space, and it needs to be consistent. Because what you want is, when someone Googles, they may not know your name as the expert, but they may be looking for that topic. You want to make sure that you're coming up as an option when someone Googles those keywords for the topic that you want to be known for. And so in order to do that, you have to be showing up talking about it.
Thank you so much, Naomi. I'm looking through and we don't have any more questions. I just want to say thank you so much for your presentation. I know you had a contact slide, but if you could also put it in the chat. So if we wanted to reach out,
Sure. So
great.
I'll just put that in here, everyone. Okay, no problem. I'll put my handle, and that's Instagram. LinkedIn is just Naomi Garrick. And website is I am Naomi Garrick.com.
Thank you, Naomi. So we're gonna move on to the next presentation. So if you want to stay around with us, so that would be great. But if you have to,
Sure.
I want to also just thank you one more time for your presentation. Can we get some more reactions in the chat?
Thank you. And I saw that other question. So for anyone's question that I didn't answer, you can send it to me as a DM on Instagram, and I will try to get back to you on it this week before it ends.
Lovely. Thanks again,
All
Naomi.
right. Thank you, guys. Have a great night. Thank you so much.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're getting our program on the way. And just before we get into the presentation by Christopherson, we're going to invite Nikita to our virtual stage, who's going to share a little bit more with us about the YAA Legacy Scholarship. So, Nikita, the virtual stage is yours. Oh, I see the presentation first. So, is it that we're going to do Christopherson's presentation first and then the scholarship?
I'll go first. So Christopherson, just give me 5 minutes because it's just a quick launch. We just want to get persons aware about what's coming, something that we're, of course, starting as in our 4th year of this conference. And so I really just want to say good evening, everyone. On behalf of the board and team of the Young Alumni Advocates, it is my absolute pleasure to launch the YAA Legacy Scholarship Award. The purpose of this scholarship is simple but powerful. It is to provide financial support to a deserving final year student at the University of the West Indies. And though, yes, we know that this conference is open to anyone who is going anywhere, don't even have to be in college, you never go to college at all. We are actually focusing this particular scholarship on our U students because if you did not know, the YAA is formed out of the body of UStat. And so we're continuing our legacy through this particular program we have here, as well as the scholarship. So our goal is to offer an annual award rotating among our UWI campuses each year. Yes, we have several campuses, but we don't have it just yet to be providing to somebody in all the campuses, on all the campuses. So we provide to a student who exemplifies academic excellence, leadership, and community engagement. So it's really drawing on the inspiration of who UWISTAT alumni ambassadors are. And that's the purpose of this scholarship, to continue that particular legacy and to strengthen our relations between current students and the alumni community. This is exactly what USTAT means. Student today, alumni tomorrow. So it seeks to inspire our scholarship recipients and others to carry forward the legacy of the YAA contributions, but also ensuring the continuity of a supportive UWI alumni community. So we know, say, KC, Calabar, what other school them where, say, you really think that they drink something over there, that they're super patriotic. We know, say, as Jamaicans, we're very patriotic when we're off our soil. But we want you to be that as well. We want to embody that same feeling, and we feel like a scholarship will also do that while helping someone. So this is more than just financial assistance. It is an investment in a student's potential to make a difference. So the awardees are people who we see who are going to go on a particular trajectory, who we want to encourage on that journey through mentorship and this support as well. And so we're building people, we're building communities, we're building youth, we're building professionals through this scholarship. A lot of us benefited from some of that coaching and some of that support, and we want to continue that legacy through this conference and through the YAA. So the intention is for us to provide approximately 2,500 US dollars, or whatever, because we know so that might change. Degrees don't stay standard. So whatever the equivalent for a general degree, we are hoping to at least provide that to a student. And like most scholarships, we will have an application process. We will ask persons to provide relevant documentation, such as status letters, a transcript, whether unofficial or official. We want to hear from them. We want to hear through an interview and through an essay, why are they deserving of this? And of course, we want references, because at the end of the day, we want to verify and validate that these persons are credible, who they say they are, and we want to ensure that whoever we're entrusting this fund will use it very well. And so in the upcoming months, of course, you will hear more about it. It is our intention to have our first recipient be awarded next year. So I'm already putting it out in the atmosphere, manifesting already. The first recipient will receive it around this time. And we want persons to come on board to contribute, but also to champion the cause. Just to spread the word, people who we know who can contribute, etc., etc. Of course, telling people when it's time to apply that, hey, you fit this particular model. So yeah, the the YAA Legacy Scholarship Award by the Young Alumni Advocates. Thank you for being here today to celebrate this particular milestone. And together, through this conference, through this scholarship, we will continue to make this legacy one to remember. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, Nakita. I hope you're all energized and ready to go for our next presentation, but please be able to support in any way that you possibly can. Now it's time to hear from Christopherson Eunice, the career doc, who's going to talk to us all about career recruitment. How does that look now in a 2024 context? But just to give the introduction to who he is, I'm going to invite Vanessa to our virtual stage to do that, and then we can get into the presentation. So, Vanessa, the virtual stage is yours.
So good night, everyone, and thank you, Tamoy. I've been having a fantastic time, and I'm very excited for the launch of the YAA scholarship. Now, for our last speaker of this wonderful conference, Christopherson Nunes. Christopherson Nunes is the founder of jobcheckup.com, an inclusive job platform dedicated to supporting job seekers with daily job vacancies, career advice, and innovative AI tools to enhance the job search process. With a passion for empowering individuals in their career journeys, Christopherson has created a platform that equips job seekers with resources to navigate the modern job market effectively. Over his career, Christopherson has impacted over 2,000 job seekers in their career transitions and has collaborated with over 20 companies locally and internationally on job market consultancy, talent management, and innovative workforce solutions. In March 2024, he partnered with the Montego Bay Chamber of Commerce to plan and execute a successful job fair that brought together over 500 job speakers and over 20 employers, featuring interactive career workshops, one-on-one resume reviews, and professional headshots. And Miss Garrick told us how important a professional headshot is, right? Recently selected for the prestigious 2025 Young Leaders of America's Initiative Fellowship Program, he is recognized for his forward-thinking and effective approaches in the career consultancy space. He has been honored with commendations such as Creative Business Cup and a nomination for the Prime Minister's Youth Award for Excellence. As a public speaker and mentor, Christopherson continues to inspire others to reach their full potential in their professional endeavors. So in virtual land, or as our host likes to call it, Zoom land, help me welcome our final speaker for the 2024 Soft and Life Skill Conference, Christopherson Nunes.
That's a big introduction. I appreciate it, guys. Good night, everybody. Good night, good night, good night. I hope everybody is doing okay. Yeah, so it's very funny because every time I hear that introduction, I've literally been boxed with imposter syndrome at times. But like Naomi says, good to reflect on the big wins, the small wins, and that's have a sense of gratitude. Yeah. So today's topic is maximizing career opportunities through the effective use of recruitment tools. That's a lot of big words for Elmo. So before we get there, let's share with you my team, myself, my two supportive, I'll call them strong leaders in my team, Reno and Amanda. They have experiences in terms of building our resumes, help with career development, recruitment, a whole operation. So think of me as the madman that creates the ideas, and these ladies just help me implement it at the end of the day. And of course, it's all with appreciation and gratitude, right? So before we think about recruitment, we always think about, the resume. Did you guys know that the world's first resume is literally over 500 years old? Meaning that Leonardo da Vinci himself wrote one to the Duke of Milan, literally telling them, say, hey, I have these skills, I have these expertise, and I can help your city in times of peace and in times of war, right? And what really helped with Da Vinci is he personalized his resume, of course, his letter. He showed his scientific insights, his expertise, in his geniusness in a sense. But of course, he showed his value as a candidate. He showed how he could help the city in times of war, in terms of building beautiful buildings and art and enhancing the aesthetics of the city. And of course, it helped him to get future projects because his work spoke for himself. People know him for the paintings like The Last Supper and stuff like that. So it's pretty much the same classic timeless things we all know in every resume, but a resume now in a modern way is similar in the sense of, everything. So what we know in school is basic things like, summary, the work experience, education, the skills, expertise, all that stuff, right? But I want you guys to keep these principles in mind. Right? So keep these principles in mind because it's going to help with the rest of the presentation. So the timeless resume essentials are crucial, meaning that no matter where you are, and of course, Naomi spoke about them earlier in some way, shape, or form, right? But nonetheless, keep these four things in mind. So we're going to talk about modern resumes, modern recruitment. 2024, my first job, funny enough, was through a competition via Facebook. And if I told somebody that years ago that I can get an internship via social media, they would laugh. But now it's almost a norm. It's almost an expectation now, in a sense, to get maybe your internship, summer jobs via social media. And that's how the world has, evolved and grown and has changed. And of course, it's at different layers. It's at different, I'll call it digital anthropology behind how we navigate these platforms. What are the expectations of our users and stuff like that. But nonetheless, we have an evolved way of getting a job or even building our career. So first of all, I like to use people we know and trust. So Naomi has her own website, her own platform, her own digital real estate that showcases who she is, her expertise, her education, and her skills, and then of course a quick summary. And of course in the digital where she can leverage insights into how many persons are on her website, where they're coming from. Maybe she can do a lead list in terms of like a discovery call just to get interested clients or prospective income streams on her page. So in the modern way, you can have your own resume, you can have your own digital real estate, right? People like to cross-pollinate in a sense, having your own, and of course, going on a much higher traffic website to drive traffic back to your page. So it's all, digital marketing at the end of the day, but it's good to have your own digital real estate in a modern resume. Next, I like this resume. It's called Bobby Leonard, and his resume is literally a game. Sorry about that. So his resume is literally a game where it goes through similar like Mario. You move left and right, up and down, you get mushrooms. And of course, as you progress through his game, it shows his skill sets, his expertise. And it's pretty cool, and it also shows his expertise in software development and game design, right? So you have to be niche, you have to be specialized. Of course, you want to think creative, you want to think out of the box, or what I call being a purple cow. And how you want to, I would say, stand out in the job markets, and of course, in ways of how people use recruitment tools. I like this one, and it becomes a similar story with our own personal way. So this guy, said most resumes end up in the trash, mine in your belly. And it's very interesting because persons may have, or let's say hiring managers may have a lot of time on their plate in terms of, not a time, a lot of things on their plate in terms of looking for an next best talent, managing the work culture of a company, onboarding new employees. So they may not have time to go through each resume as detailed as possible. But what's really great is this kind of breaks the mold of a pattern, kind of gets their attention. And of course, it makes them know who you are. And a similar story for us was we wanted a intern on behalf of our client in our previous venture, and somebody literally even PO boxed a shoe and said, "At least I got my foot in the door with the resume inside the shoe." And that really stood out for us because one, it was personalized. It kind of showed their way of thinking as a marketer, which we wanted. And of course, we brought them in for an interview. So most times, as as we spoke about, everybody may have the same degree, but you always want to think about how you want to stand out at the end of the day. So we have Barbie, who's a very accomplished career woman. Um, Barbie is, the president of the United States. She's a game developer. She's a pizza chef. She's everything under the sun in terms of her capabilities, and of how she packages that is, of course, maybe creatively, maybe showing her personality through almost a contemporary of resume. Um, and of course, how now she's the next step I call distributing in all the different channels, right? So if you're anybody in the Jamaican or Caribbean region, you might have used this platform, Caribbean Jobs, right? So Caribbean Jobs is one number one platform in terms of opportunities across the Caribbean, whether locally, whether do the presentation, sir. Sorry about that. Whether Caribbean wise in terms of locally, whether into travel, anything at all in terms of opportunity, because they have that high SEO ranking. Chances are you must know it if you're job seeking as a Caribbean individual. Next thing we always know about is LinkedIn. So now we spoke about LinkedIn and its complex, intricate ways of standing out, building a personal brand, and even just having your information updated and ready despite you not using it every day. LinkedIn is I call it a colossal of a platform because it caters to job seekers, employers, recruiters, educational institutes, and so much more. So it's a whole marketplace in terms of professionals. Um, People get hired through LinkedIn all the time, whether through local opportunities, whether through internationally. And of course, it's a great way just to keep abreast of what's going on professionally, right? Flex Jobs is now not like LinkedIn because it charges their users, which is job seekers, to get access to their database of opportunities, right? So different recruitment platforms have their different value. So these guys promise that they vet all the jobs, they're compliant, there are no scams, and of course, what they compensate for that is you have to, pay to access our database of remote jobs. So not every platform is the same. Some of them act as a pool of opportunities that are, paid gateways you have to get access to. But at the end of the day, you still have to show up in terms of your documents, in terms of your portfolio, and your resume. Then you have these opportunities that not like Caribbean Jobs, not like flex jobs, but they post from time to time scholarships, fellowships, grant opportunities, maybe travel opportunities based off alignment to some youth politics. And these are opportunities that are pulled together from different regions of the world, whether through the US, South America, even the Caribbean, even China, all over. It's a crowdsourced platform, and of course it's free to the user. So they act as a board just for persons to find different opportunities, especially for youth, right? Then you have a very niche board if you're looking into teaching, or not a teacher, but going into Japan to work. So let's say you want to entry level or pivot into a whole new region. Chances are countries like Japan are have popular job boards to recruit English teachers. Also, they have opportunities for persons who are already established in the region already, right? So this means companies can hire you across the board depending on where they want to find you. So if you're somebody who wants to maybe move to Japan, this is a great recruitment platform that hires international candidates with a first degree, of course, and not just only to teach, but of course other opportunities. But based off statistics, chances are if it's 100 positions, maybe 70% of it is teaching, and the rest could be other opportunities, whether through marketing, sales, and other areas. But nonetheless, they have a platform that's really high on that recruitment area. And then, of course, our own platform that we utilize locally in terms of how we want to shape and be accessible for candidates across the Caribbean. And of course, make it affordable for employers to find candidates as well. We want to be user friendly. We offer expertise in terms of salary insights because not much persons know about those salary transparency in Jamaica. We offer career advice. And of course, we have our own tools that we're experimenting on launching in terms of our own interview prep, AI and career development, AI and all that madness. But nonetheless, we're very proud of what we're doing. We've launched in September of this year. And since then we've had over 1,000 jobs on the platform. Persons can view it, and what's really cool is employers get their resumes directly in their inbox. So, and this is just to say, guys, recruitment platforms, tools are a dime a dozen. You could use a few, we could use many, but at the end of the day, you have to be strategic. You have to be almost pencil focused in terms of what you want to. But nothing is wrong with casting a wide net and see what bites. But at the end of the day, it's really good to go back to the drawing board and be very specific about what you want to do with your career, right? So because at the end of the day, careers aren't linear, meaning that you can start from anywhere, anytime with your career. You could turn an entrepreneur, you can go back to maybe a 9 to 5, you could go back to school, you could travel, you could maybe do a whole new pivot. But nobody's career is gonna be the same. Nobody's career is gonna even have the same benefits and reward and even same impact to each other. So, and this is because at the end of the day, I know the whole recruitment process can be very daunting and very stressful for graduates and professionals, especially on the mental health level. Because let's say you're sending out these resumes and you don't get a call back. You you're wondering if this company is even real. You're wondering if your 3 years at uni make sense, if your studies agree, if you're wondering what's going on. Because especially with social media, it's very easy now to compare yourself with other people and stuff like that, despite you're using it for finding a job, right? So it's a double-edged sword at the end of the day. But just being very empathic, but whereas your careers aren't linear. And this is just a kind of follow through where slow progress is better than no progress. So sometimes it's good to say, hey, maybe part of my recruitment strategy is I'm gonna send 3 resumes to this company a day, right? And that's just to keep momentum and movement going around. Maybe you just want to talk to 2 additional persons in a career space that you want to tap into and ask for introductions. Maybe for the months of January and February, you want to get up more and network. So it's really good to have some form of progress. But like I said, it's better than no progress. And as of course you're learning, we build on what we know. We build on what we our expertise, we build on all of these things as new layers. We build on them to pull them back in maybe in a new way, shape, or form in such a creative light. And that's very, I would say now, strange things about career because you can pull things from maybe your first time as a job in terms of an intern and you hey, I cannot implement this type of thinking where we are now. So don't think of your experiences and let's say the experiences in the good one. Let's say even the no's, the rejections, because we build on what we know. Sometimes it's really good to ask and say, hey, what could I do better the next time? It could be from an interview that you got rejected from. Or maybe you didn't get a accepted for a presentation or a fellowship. It's really good to ask and to learn from it as well. So just to close, at the end of the day, a job recruitment, everything can be very daunting. So take it easy, take your time, don't compare yourself to everybody else, and sign up for jobcheckup.com. Thank you guys for your time. Any questions?
Thank you so much, Chris. Can we get a round of applause, please? The reactions, the energy, we got to keep it going. Thank you so much, Chris. I'm seeing them coming through. Thanks so much, Michaela. And this is the opportunity for you to ask your questions. As always, you can post them in the chat and I'll read them aloud. Or you can raise your hand, we'll acknowledge you, and then you can open up your microphone and ask your questions. What I personally really loved about the presentation, Chris, is just how, especially at the end, you're really reassuring us that this is a very daunting process, but we'll get through it. Or to give ourselves some grace, but also the ability to ask for feedback when we can to see how it is that we could improve going forward. And I thought that was really something that was of value to note. And Nikita is saying that great resources, and Alwyn is also sharing some positive comments as well. Please, everyone, if you have any questions, this is your time to shine. I'm just reading through the comments. Very helpful presentation. All right. All right. I'm not seeing any questions in the chat, nor am I seeing any raised hands. So I take it that the presentation was so thorough, clear. Okay, loving the presentation that perhaps we don't have any questions to ask. So Chris, I don't see any questions. So I just want to say thank you so much for your time and the effort that you put into your presentation, but also just how really clear and concise it was, and really encouraging us, and also highlighting some of the resources, because I didn't know about FlexiJob and the other software applications that I could utilize in order to gain further opportunities. So thank you so much. I was combing through. All right, clear, concise, and effective presentation. Amazing presentation. We have a question now. Would you recommend adding an image to a resume?
It depends, of course, on the context, right? So, let's say you're doing a creative marketing resume or something with a portfolio, why not add a picture, right? But let's say you're going something where conservative resumes are more preferred, it's preferred not to have a picture on it. So it really depends on the context, of course, of where you're sending the resume.
Thanks so much, Chris. I have a personal question. Would you recommend having two resumes for context? I am about to be a lawyer, so I have my legal experience and then I have my media related experience. I try to put them all on the one resume, but I kind of try to section it off. But I can imagine applying to a law firm, telling you that I'm an event host may not be what I want to lead with. So do you recommend having, I guess, a separate resume, or maybe creating a portfolio for the media related things, and then just having my standard resume that showcases a legal experience? What's your take on that?
So big down string up outside, but yes, yeah, definitely. So I agree. It's good to have a very niche, separate portfolios, resume, just to speak or direct in terms of where you want to go, and who you want to communicate with, right? So yeah, just to answer the question, it's very plain and simple because it's almost dishing out their preference of what they want to receive in terms of who you are. Sometimes it's really good to mix and merge it depending on the context of where you're applying. But like I said, it's really good to know your audience then in that sense to say, hey, maybe these guys don't need to know about my internship as a babysitter or when I did different things in terms of that doesn't align at all. But if it have some form of alignment, add it. If it doesn't, get rid of it.
Thanks so much, Chris. We're not hearing the big dance outside, so you don't have to fret yourself about that. And Sean and Sherry Dean said thank you, so you had answered her question well. So we are closing out the show, but just before we give the formal thanks and all of the flowery stuff, we're gonna have the quick giveaway. So last night we had asked person to just please tell us two key points that stood out to you from both presentations. And so we're gonna ask the same question this time. And so please let me know. Whoa, David. I didn't even finish, and I saw David's hand go up so quickly. David was the first person I saw. All right, David, let me just read the question for the benefit of everyone. Could you please share with us two key points from Naomi's and Chris's presentation? And based on this how well you answer, I guess we'll determine if you are deserving of your Amazon gift card. So, David, you have the floor.
Okay, great. Good night, everyone.
Night, night, David.
Okay, great. So from the first presentation, I must say, personally, I never took online presence as serious. And she highlighted a point to me because I actually Googled myself and I was shocked when I saw myself. It was about 5 points down, and I looked at it and I'm like, I really don't have my LinkedIn updated. So that online presence was an eye opener for me. I personally thought that was more of thing for like marketing people or people that are trying to be out there. I never know that a general normal looking at regular work, I should factor in this online presence side. And from Chris's side, I found, well, he opened my eyes to a lot of online opportunities in terms of job searches. And I definitely will be looking to that FlexiJob one That one stood out most to me, even though he mentioned that there is a cost fee. I am kind of for that, being that they say that they vet the jobs, and I'm feeling like it's more of a guarantee. I don't have to do too much research on my end. So those 2 points stood out the best to me, and I enjoyed tonight's presentation. Thanks to everyone. Good night.
Thank you, David. All right, so I don't want to be the one to determine who is going to get the prize. Max and Nikita, I hope you can jump in here and assist me. I'm going to allow Halloween and Michaela to also attempt, and I guess based on the responses will determine who is deserving of the gift card. Halloween, you are acknowledged, and the virtual stage is yours. Halloween, you gone now. We're giving you the time to shine. I'm not hearing from you, Alwyn. Michaela, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
All right, Michaela, please share with us your two key takeaways from both presentations.
Okay, so good night again, everyone.
Night.
So from the first presentation from Naomi, the major thing that stood out to me was personal branding. You know, she mentioned first we have to define what it is, that being our reputation, whether that being what Google says about us or people are saying about us in real life. And then I think she let us do the activity where we looked up ourselves on Google. And so she said to help basically like better our personal brand, like we first have to like define what it is, like define like who are we and what value do we add. And then after like we define those things, she mentioned like, okay, we have to choose to like communicate that to the people and where we communicating. Yeah, I remember that, like choosing like channels and so on. So that's what I got from her. Oh yes, and then the digital footprint. Yeah, that was good. David mentioned that as well, like because everyone's like on the internet, so every company is like looking at who you are outside of what your resume says, because you want your brand to align with like the company's brand. So they're searching your socials and LinkedIn. And then what I got from Christopherson, I'm sorry. What do you call it? Presentation the most is the resume part. Like I think Naomi mentioned it too about like skills, knowledge, experience, expertise. Like he was mentioning that every resume should have like your essentials, your summary, education, and so on. And that, you should probably like try to differentiate yourself in the market, like he mentioned the person who sent him a shoe with the resume in it. And so, whether it's an attention grabber, just somewhere to stand out in the job market. And like, as David said, he mentioned the different recruitment sites, Caribbean jobs and so on. And to be honest, this is me personally just saying thank you so much for his presentation, because as a recent grad myself, it's rough. So like slow progress is still progress. So thank you so much. That's all I have, guys. Yes, I do have slow Wi-Fi. I'm telling you. I'm telling you.
Thank you so much, Michaela. No, forgive me. I was a little bit carried away because I wanted to hear all the feedback, but I'm reminded of the rules that he was the first person who raised their hand and spoke. So that would mean David would claim our prize. But I'm so happy that you walked away with so many nuggets, Michaela. So I'm just gonna ask David to message me on the platform with your name, your phone number, and your email address so that we can organize getting you your Amazon gift card. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I can always say, all good things must come to an end. And I want to just thank you all for being such an engaging and as an amazing audience. When I asked for reactions and energy, I got it, and I always love that. So, gold stars for you. And as you can see, we have projected on the screen a poll to get your feedback as to how tonight's session was. We did it yesterday and we did it now. Your feedback is so important because it is from this that we will know how to improve and let the other conferences be just as amazing and better than the one before. So don't hesitate in casting your vote. I want to extend thanks and appreciation to our speakers tonight. We had Naomi Garrick, our PR chick, and Christopherson Nunez, our career doc, who shared their insights, their expertise, but packaged it in such a way that we were not bored to sleep, but we had so many questions and we walked away with so many nuggets. Yesterday, we also benefited from Jermaine Nears and Kamala McWinney's presentation, and so we also thank them. The hearts and hands that went into this, all of the persons on the YAA advisory board. I don't want to call names to leave out anybody, but from Nikita, Matt, and the entire team coming together to craft this. Kudos and thanks to you, and virtual hugs to everyone who made this possible. We want to really shout out Mrs. Celia Davison Francis, always being the queen of everything alumni relations, and everyone who tuned in, whether you're from Trinidad, St. Kitts, Dominica, Jamaica, Dubai, wherever. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please remember to cast your votes. And please definitely support all of the UE activities, all the upcoming activities that will be put on by the YAA, and support, support, support. That is the main theme. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Tamoy Campbell. It was my pleasure being your moderator tonight. I want to wish you all the best in your endeavors, and love and light to you wherever you may go. Just before you log off, please remember to cast your votes, and the conference has officially come to an end. Thank you so much and have a great night.